Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Friday the 10th of February 2023. In today's Millwall news, I'm going to start off with a statement from the chairman, John Berylson. And here we go. Now, it's normally the start of the month we've been getting statements from Steve Kavanagh. This month's statement comes from John Berylson. So let's see what he has to say. This is from millwallfc.co.uk. You want to go and find it yourself. John Berylson writes column to Millwall fans. I'd like to start by thanking each and every one of you who attended last Saturday's game against Sunderland at the Den. As well, my wife and I were incredibly grateful for the warm welcome and well wishes we received throughout the day. The sold-out stadium made for a great sight, and the atmosphere generated as a result certainly added to the spectacle also. I thought it was an enjoyably competitive game, played in a great spirit, and were it for a bit of better luck with one or two decisions, then we could have earned a victory which would have made for a perfect day. But as we know, football doesn't always work like that, unfortunately. Having the biggest home crowd since 1995 really is some achievement, and that hopefully reflects the progress that we are trying to make as a club both on and off the pitch. I understand there were 800 people at the Den for the very first time, and bringing new supporters here game after game, taking them on a journey to become regulars, is crucial for the club in the long term. Our average home attendance is up again this season, and continuing to build those numbers year after year is so important for a variety of reasons, but most importantly because it helps the players so much. There are several more huge fixtures coming up at the Den between now and the end of the season, especially this month, with both Sheffield United and Burnley visiting. It's so vital that we're able to pack out the stadium as much as we can for that doubleheader against the league's top two. So please come down again and help make that difference for the team. Hopefully those coming to the home games been able to make the most of the improvements we are making to the match day experience, particularly in the fan zone around the back of the Cold Blow Lane stand. A lot has changed there in a relatively short amount of time, starting with converting the Blue Bus into a bar a few years ago, before introducing the bandstand, more drink outlets, and this season new food provisions, including the long-awaited pie and mash. And it was great to walk through there on Saturday and see just how busy it was, and I know staff at the club are very committed to continue making improvements, not just in the fan zone, but in all other areas of the ground too. On the pitch, we've had a very positive season up to this point, and we're, of course, all fully focused and determined to continue this form as we move into the business end of the campaign. We've been a bit unfortunate with a few injuries of late, but those who go out to play, whether from the start or off the bench, are doing so with tremendous passion for the club, and their appetite for success is certainly serving us well so far. The January transfer window was typically difficult to navigate, as we all saw, for most clubs throughout the Championship, but we were both pleased and relieved to get two players of the quality of Duncan Watmore and Oliver Burke into the squad to assist with the challenges ahead. We also invested in young Adomo Imaku and hope he can fulfill his potential with us in the coming months and years ahead. I'm sure everyone like myself is excited about the emergence of Romain Esse and his progress within the first team setup to date. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than seeing an academy player progress all the way into the senior squad, just as Danny McNamara and Benny Mitchell have done so successfully. And I know Romain's development so far will be a source of great pride for Scott Fitzgerald, his staff, and an inspiration to all other players in our younger age groups. I can feel a sense of real unity between players, fans, and club at the moment, and that can only serve us well with the many games and hurdles ahead. There have been some great moments so far this season. Here's to creating some more memories during the remaining 18 games. Thank you all for your support, John. It's a very happy statement there. Pleasing to read. Very very hopeful, confident, as many Americans are. Good to read. But when I gotta tell you, when this first come up, and I saw John Berylsons put out a statement, I'm like, started to tingle a little bit. I thought, because we have had things behind the scenes about share consolidation and selling the shares and moving on. So I thought this was the big announcement. Please no, but no, it isn't that. It's just a thank you to the fans. He was at the game. I don't think he gets to all the games. He used to come to a lot more games, but I mean that's fair enough. I mean obviously COVID put a kibosh on that, so that's not a problem. But yeah, very pleasing and encouraging statement there from the chairman, John Berylson. A great man and a great chairman. Absolutely fantastic. So, moving on. Now, I told you yesterday Tom Bradshaw had been nominated for the Sky Bet Championship Player of the Month for January. Well, guess what? He's only gone and not won it. Yeah, he hasn't won it. Weirdly and quite remarkably, they took both the Manager's Award and the Player Award to Burnley's training ground and gave it to them. Isn't that funny? It obviously saves them on the gas, so they don't have to on the petrol money, doesn't it? Yeah, it is what it is. But what can you do? Millwall striker Bradshaw misses out on Player of the Month award, but plenty of other personal accolades have been ticked off, and this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, South London Press's online website. Tom Bradshaw's ticked off plenty of the individual accolades he wanted to achieve in his career. The Millwall striker has learned through bitter experience not to get carried away by his January nomination for Championship Player of the Month. The striker was responsible for 4 the Lions' 5 goals in that period, netting 3 times. That included a brace in the 3-0 win over Rotherham at the Den. It was also his effort which deflected off Miller's defender Cameron Humphreys to round off the scoring before punishing a dozing Cedric Kipra in a 1-0 victory at Cardiff City. Bradshaw was also shortlisted for the award in October 2019, notching 5 goals in as many matches, only to miss out to Fulham sharpshooter Aleksandar Mitrovic. I'd scored 5 goals in that month and he was on 3, but when he ended up scoring a hat-trick in the next game, and he took the Player of the Month. Bradshaw also shortlisted while with Walsall in League One in 2015 told the South London Press. I thought it was in the bag, but obviously now, off the back of that season, he's at the last time. I should have taken it for granted. Once he got the asterisk, it was dead and buried. Once again for Bradshaw, it was a case of close but no cigar. Burnley defender Ian Martson took the latest honour ahead of other rivals of Norwich's Kieran Dow and Antoine Semenyo, who moved from Bristol City to Bournemouth at the end of the last transfer window. We knew he won't get it. From a personal perspective, this season has been quite good, said Bradshaw. 30. Ooh, why you got to put his age in? I always wanted to be in the team of the week, to get one of the FIFA cards. It sounds petty, but it's a cool thing to have. I got after that Watford game. I got the man of the match away, and we were live on Sky. Again, it's silly, but I've always wanted one of those trophies to put in my little cabinet. Championship Player of the Month would have been a good one too. Hopefully I can get it this year. The former Barnsley and Walsall frontman is known for his hard graft, and he looked the first choice pick up front, even before the January departure of Benica Fobi. Now it is arguably even more the case with Millwall seeing a move for Hibernian's Kevin Nisbet collapse. If he needs a rest, would Bradshaw tell that to manager Gary Rowett? Well, I feel great physically, said Bradshaw. And even if I didn't, I wouldn't tell the manager. I'd just drink another Red Bull. Load up on the caffeine. We're quite lucky where we have quite a lot of equipment and stuff available. We've got built-in ice baths, which I try and use every other day or so. It's just something to get used to. They aren't enjoyable, but they might keep you getting injured for a few more months. We've got recovery pumps, protein shakes and other supplements. Loads of things that go into your recovery. I've tried to utilise it this year because in previous seasons there has been more rotation in terms of not playing week in and week out. I've played a lot of games this season and I really enjoyed it. I felt I've helped the team with goals and assists. It's probably fairly unusual that there's only one out-and-out striker, but something this club's done well for years. Or getting players who aren't generally set in one position We've got players that can play multiple positions, which is really useful when we've got a fairly small squad compared to some other clubs at this level. There's loads of cover in terms of players who can play up front. Vogie, Berkey and Dunk. Bradshaw saw his spot kick claim in Saturday's 1-1 draw against Sunderland waved away by referee Thomas Bramall. Black Cat's left back Adjie Alice tangled with him inside the box. "Oh, it was a penalty for sure," said Bradshaw. "I have to be a little bit careful what I say, but the ball was played on the channel, and the defender had sold himself a little, going on my left-hand shoulder, which allowed me to go inside. I felt his right arm around my waist and his left arm on my shoulder. I thought he's probably going to let go any second, so I'm going to try and get the shot off. But he didn't let go. I was more surprised than anyone when the ref didn't get it. I always gauge if that went to VAR, would it be given as a penalty? I think it definitely would." George Honeyman also had a goal on the half-hour mark disallowed with the officials ruling George Saville was in the eye line of keeper Anthony Patterson before he spilled Zion Fleming's shot. "Well, I always thought the offside rule was pretty clear, but it seems that as seasons go on, it's getting more and more complicated," said Bradshaw. "The keeper hasn't hesitated with his dive. He's seen the ball clearly. From my perspective, it was just fumbled. There's no pause or delay in him seeing the shot. Saturday was one of the best atmospheres I've played in that den. And we had some big games down there in the past few years. It felt hostile, even if on paper you wouldn't say Millwall Sunderland would be. In fairness to them, they brought a lot of fans too, and it was all just added to the atmosphere. It felt from the start to finish like the atmosphere was amazing." So there you go. There is Tom Bradshaw. So obviously, big interview with Tom Bradshaw there in South London Press this week. Yeah, amazing. So he didn't get it, but he wants those trophies, which is good. He wants those little trinkets and trophies and things. He wants them. That's fair enough, isn't it? So we've got this from 442.com, and that's spelled out FOUR. It's not 4 as in the number, it's 4 as in the letter of the word 4. So that's 442.com. They've got an interview with Gary Rowett. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? And he's talking about the fans. He's talking about you. He's talking about you. What do you think he's got to say? So Millwall manager Gary Rowett is full of admiration for the club supporters. The fans are a little misunderstood. Oh, are you misunderstood? The Lions boss suggests the support fans display for the club is misconstrued before highlighting the positive impact they have shown in the past. So this is a bit of a PR spin. Whose idea was this? Was this the club's idea to get out there and kind of do a bit of PR? Or was this them going to Gary Rowett and, well, what can we talk to you about? We'll talk about the fans. I don't know. So stereotypically, Millwall is a club which has often been associated with hooliganism. The fans depicted as notoriously violent through fictional films such as The Football Factory and Green Street. However, or to be fair, they're a bit naff, in there. I like ID. Have you seen that film ID? Even though was it Shadwell and Wapping? We know it's Millwall and West Ham. We know that. You can't fool us. However, according to Millwall manager Gary Rowett, this couldn't be further from the truth. Arguing the case for the Millwall faithful, Rowett argues to 442 that those stereotypes are unjust while they support the club vehemently at the home ground of Den, as fans of many clubs do. Rowett says they've also displayed their emphatic nature on more than one occasion in recent years. "You can't help but admire and love our supporters," Rowett explains. "The Den has always been the ultimate fortress as the fans make it such a hostile ground to visit. When you speak to players and managers of all clubs, you hear how intimidating it can be to play here. There's an old school atmosphere around the place. The fans are a little bit misunderstood as well. I've seen them get behind other clubs and help raise money for rival supporters who've fallen ill. They spot a good cause and they get behind it. I think the world of them." Millwall are well positioned in the Championship too, sitting in 8th but with games in hand on teams around them and only a point off the playoffs. Rowett believes making the top 6 is certainly an achievable target. From thereafter, Premier League football could always be a possibility. The club has never played in the rebounded top tier of English football. Our ambitions are simple. We don't want to sit and stagnate, he says. Oh, he says. Automatic promotion wasn't necessarily a target at the beginning of the season, but we were always top six. We've been in the mix. We all have big dreams, but those can only be realised if we improve every day in little ways. Being competitive at the sharp end of the league is the aim. Rival teams can spend double what we can, but we try and do things our way with our culture, togetherness, and the fans right behind us. Okay, was that it? I thought it was longer than that. Okay. Um, that was it. I thought it was longer than that. The ads are a bit confusing because they keep pumping in ads in as you scroll down. It makes it. I thought it was longer than that, but that was it. So there you go. Gary out loves you. He thinks you're misunderstood. Thanks, Gary. I think you're misunderstood too. You're not a defensive manager. You love playing 4-2-3-1. This is from LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. Jake Cooper speaking to the South London press. So Mill's Jake Cooper pinpoints the game with the best atmosphere he's played in at the Den and hopes to top it this season. Mill defender Jake Cooper is hoping the atmosphere at the Den this season will surpass the noise levels created at the Fulham home game in the 2017-18 campaign. Was that a good one? I don't remember that. An attendance of 18,524, the Lions' biggest crowd since 1995, turned up for last Saturday's 1-1 draw, fellow playoff contenders Sunderland. But Cooper picks out the clash against Fulham in the club's first campaign back in the Championship, with the Lions on a 17-game unbeaten run as the most raucous he has heard Mill's home ground. I remember the feel around the place at the time, Cooper told the South London Press. We had 3 games left of the season. It was a massive game. The Leicester and Everton games in the FA Cup are right up there too, for atmosphere. It was a great turnout of the weekend, and as the season goes forward, that Fulham game can definitely get beaten. Cooper, 28, bagged his 3rd goal of the season last weekend, improvising with a loose ball from a George Honeyman corner to slice a slot shot while lying on the ground and loop it over the Sunderland keeper, Anthony Patterson. The defender immediately ran over the packed-out Coldblow Lane to celebrate, giving his side the lead. It's been a while since I've scored up that end, said Cooper. It was a nice experience with the full house we had. It was great for our fans to turn out as they did. They make occasions like that more exciting and special to the players and staff. Hopefully we can get more atmospheres like that again going forward for this push towards the end of the season. It was a shame that we couldn't hold out and that be the winning goal, but I certainly enjoyed that moment. Cooper partnered Leeds' lonely Charlie Cresswell on the weekend. The 20-year-old spell in South London has not been straightforward, with rumours circulating on deadline day that league rivals Stoke were keen on ending his Millwall loan and bringing him to the Bet365 stadium. That is not a rumour. We have had it semi-confirmed by Callum Davidson. So Leeds accepted a bid from Stoke. They pushed it on to Charlie Cresswell, and Charlie Cresswell said, I don't want to go to Stoke. Or he said, I don't want to go to Stoke, or I want to stay at Millwall, or I want to go back to Leeds. He certainly said he didn't want to go to Stoke. So we know that's been confirmed from quotes by Callum Davidson in his press conference as St Johnson manager. I told you that in yesterday's video. I think it was yesterday's. Yeah, it was yesterday's. He played really well on Saturday, said Cooper, his centre-back companion. You have to give him credit. He's not been in the team for a few weeks. It can be difficult when you're young and you're trying to make your way in the league, especially at this football club. He's a great lad. He's stuck in there and he's got a great mentality. I can only see positive things for him going forward. Garrett's side travel to West London rivals QPR tomorrow, looking to claim their first win at Loftus Road since 1989. Jesus. The Haas have failed to win their last 7 outings in all competitions, with then boss Neil Critchley admitting his side are in a sticky spell after the draw and relegation threatened Huddersfield Town on the weekend. QPR are a top side, said Cooper. They always have top players in the division, so it's going to be difficult. They're in a rut, so they're going to be desperate to put in performance and get a result. Indeed, Jake. Very well said. So, moving on to this. So, we are playing QPR. QPR have signed a player after the transfer window closed. They signed Chris Martin, striker, not the Coldplay singer. They were able to do that because on the last day of the transfer deal, of transfer window, Bristol City decided to cast him out as a free agent. So did they? That's kind of weird. Did Bristol City try and help him out, get rid of him, get him off the books, get him out of the way? But did QPR? Were QPR interested, and they literally could not afford to buy him? So they told him, look, try and get out of your get yourself a free agent, and we might be interested in signing you. Because we know QPR are struggling financially. They've got massive penalties about financial fair play and stuff. So yeah, they have signed a striker. Which is it one of those where he's desperate to prove himself? I think the contract's just to the end of the season, so we will see. So Millwall unlikely to explore free agent market after failing to recruit a striker. So yeah, we won't be doing that. Tom Bradshaw is the only out-and-out centre forward at the then heading into the final months of the championship campaign. Gary Rowett believes it will be difficult for Millwall to use the free agent market to sign a striker, after failing to do so in the January transfer window, though he refused to rule out the possibility. One of the Lions' playoff rivals, QPR, signed Chris Martin. Hey, I just said this. Signed Chris Martin on a free transfer after he was released by Bristol City last month. It prompted some supporters to ask whether Rowett could look to strengthen the squad in the same way, especially since their move for Hibernian's Kevin Nisbet fell through later. Well, I did suggest, don't mention this. Well, I'm going to bring it up if Chris Martin scores against us in the league. I did suggest signing Chris Martin because I noticed that Bristol City released him. But if he plays dog shit, let's forget about that. But if he does well, I'm going to bring it up after the game. However, Millwall are unlikely to make a move for a free agent given the small size of the market and the fact that most new additions would likely need a number of weeks to get up to speed before being able to contribute to the club's playoff push. I think that's quite a difficult one, Rowett told Music Den. Someone like Chris is a top striker. I've worked with him. But if you bring someone in that hasn't played that much football, hasn't started regularly, you have to build that fitness level up and get them up to a point where they can go and start and impact games. Yeah, interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So Chris Martin was at Derby, so he must have been at Derby with Gary Rowett as manager. So interesting that Gary Rowett didn't go in for him, or maybe they did and he turned us down, which is kind of weird because he's at QPR. He's come to London. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to waste money on him. Didn't think he was all that now. He is 34, but for us, we know where we are. We know what we've done. We couldn't get the type of striker that we wanted, which is the case in a lot of windows. You can't always get what you want, as the Rolling Stones song goes. We don't just want to take a different type of striker that doesn't necessarily fit what we want to do. We don't want to take someone who's a striker and just a striker. We want to take someone that fits our profile and fits what we want to do in the long term. Uh-oh. That's alarm bells ring-a-ding-ding. Obviously, we know Gary Rowett, obviously, got a limited budget, so he wants players that can play more than one position. Is he trying to find a striker that can play other positions? Well, generally, if you've got a striker, especially like a tall man, they only play as a striker. Trying to find a striker that can play on the wing as well, or are we going to go back old school? Are we going to go for a striker who can play as a centre back? Alright, what's that? That's what we're going to play with false nine. We're going to play with two attacking midfielders like Zion Fleming and someone else beside him. It's kind of worrying. Maybe we're going to play. What we're playing. So we play 4-2-3-1 now. Maybe we go 4-2-5-0. How about that? Is that more than 11? Yeah. Oh. Pardon me. So where are we at? I believe that we've got goals in the forward line. I believe we've got different options in the forward line. I spoke about it after the window. We'll have to find those ways of trying to win games. Regardless of whether we go and find someone as a free transfer, we're still going to be sitting here asking whether we scored enough goals and whether we won enough games. I don't think there's an easy answer to that other than waiting until the end of the season, seeing where we finish. What? What? regardless of whether we find someone as a free transfer, we're still going to be sitting here asking whether we scored enough goals and whether we won enough games. What? I don't think there's an easy answer to that other than waiting until the end of the season and seeing where we finish. The fuck does that mean? Sounds like he's shitting all over our prospects. Where the other day he was bullish about our prospects. And he's saying, well, wait till the end of the season and I'll tell you if I fucked up. Well, that's kind of what leadership is, that you kind of see the route forward and you plan a journey through it. You plan a journey through the obstacles that are ahead of you. That's kind of what leadership and management is about. You manage the problems that will occur because, as we all know, I'm sure most of you listen to this by now, if your balls have dropped, life isn't about having problems or not having problems. It's about dealing with the problems when they occur, because you will not live a life without problems. That's a weird one, isn't it? Well, yeah, let's just all wait until the end of the season and see where we finish. Fantastic. And then we can look back and say, oh, fuck, we should have signed Chris Martin. Oh, shit. Oh, can we get in a time machine and go back and redo it? Oh, we can't. Let's just lick our wounds. Anyway, tomorrow, Loftus Road, QPR, 2000. I think it was 2,797 of Millwall fans going. So cracking one that. Here we are, 11v11.com. The historical record of matches between Millwall and QPR and Millwall. And I've ordered it so that QPR Millwall ones are at the top, so we can compare the history of this fixture that we're playing tomorrow over the years. Obviously, the very first one, 120 fucking 3 years ago. Whoa! In 1900, February as well, February 1900. So 123 years and 7 days out of the FA Cup game against QPR when Millwall won 2-0. And we did quite well there, but bizarrely the third ever game that we went to QPR, we lost. That was in February as well. We lost 6-1, which is our joint. We've lost 6-1 there more than once. That's our worst result at QPR. That was in Division 3 South. So we'd have joined the Football League by then. In a previous video, I've got to correct this. No one's brought it up. I just got to correct it. I got confused because we moved to the New Den in 1910 and we joined the Football League in 1920. And I got confused and I thought that we had moved to the New Den in 1920. So I said that we had played this game we had played this game against this team, and it was at the old ground when it wasn't. It was at the New Den. It would have been at the New Den, so I got that wrong. But anyway, let's back to this. So we do alright there actually as we go along 1920s. We lose in 1925, Christmas time. We lose 3-0. 3-0. Okay. Fair enough. But the 1930s and the 1950s, we win. We've got a win streak of 5 there. Absolutely fantastic. And then, for some reason, the 1960s happened. I don't know what happened. Generation shift, minimum wage, or the maximum wage being thrown out. Don't know, was it the baby boomer kids? Like all the kids that grew up in West London? The population, just by then they were teenagers and they were playing football and they were really good at football. And they ended up getting into the teams around there. I don't know. But yeah, we start to lose a lot repeatedly. 4-0, 4-0, 1954, 1956, 3-0 in 1957. We're losing heavily. We do win in 1955, 2-1, and we win in 1963. That was at the end of the season, April 1963. We win 3-2. But then we go on a run from the 60s to the 70s of 5 defeats in a row. And there we go again, 6-1 in March 1966. That was a height of the swinging 60s when I think a lot of So you got Chelsea in it doing quite well, and QPR as well. Rodney Marsh and all that. He was there at the time. And Bowles, other players that are probably quite as good as well that I don't really know about. I only know those two. But yeah, there you go. So we get our arse handed to us quite a while, and then there's a little revival. We win in 1972, we win in 1989. So there's a massive gap, obviously, because they are in the ascendancy. We've gone down. We don't play them between 1972 and 1987. There was a 15-year gap. So we win in 1972 3-1. We win in 1989. That's in League Division 1. Now, League Division 1, that's AKA the Premiership. That was the 2 seasons we had in the top league. That's it there. I think there was something crazy like 10 London clubs in the league that year. The most there's ever been. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, so when we are arguably the best we've ever been, Les Briley, Ian Dawes, all those players, Teddy Sheringham, we go to Loftus Road in 1989 and we win 2-1, and we go then in November 1989 and we draw 0-0. So that's pretty good. And then obviously we drop off, we come back down, etc., etc. They stay up, and we don't. They in 1992, when the Premier League starts, they are our founding memory of the Premier League, and they spent quite a bit of time up there. See, they had players like Les Ferdinand, etc. So they had some decent players, and they did quite well there. So we go to them when we're in the league below, and they're a league above us, or maybe a couple of leagues above us. In the League Cup, we lose 3-0. In the FA Cup, we lose 1-0. And we don't win. So we won in 1989 when we were at the peak, the highest we've ever been, in the top league. And we don't win again. That's it. That's our last win. That's the last win that we had at Loftus Road, 4th of February 1989. And we've been there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. 12. We haven't won at Loftus Road in 12 games, spanning, I can't do the math, but since 1989, many years. Many years. Was that 34 years? 34 or 24? That's kind of insane. But like I said, they've always been always been a step above us. But is that changing now? They've spent loads of years in the Championship now. Many years. They're struggling financially. The teams around them have all bubbled up. Brentford, beautiful new ground at Brentford. They're doing well. Fulham, building the new stand, doing quite well. Chelsea, look at what Chelsea have done. What have QPR compared it to? QPR have just gone off to the rocket moon. And QPR are just still there at Loftus Road, in their shit stadium, struggling to get any players. Because there's literally, if you're a kid in that area now, there's like, well, arguably, well, it might help them actually, because Chelsea can literally pick players around Europe and bring them into their youth team. So maybe they get the best of the rest. So they do have a pretty decent youth team, although they picked up Eze from Millwall and ended up selling him for a fair old whack to Crystal Palace. So they have become a selling club. They can't. There isn't talk that they'll have to sell Chair this summer. Finance, just running of the club. So they are probably at the lowest point they've been in many years, and we still haven't beaten them over these many years since 1989. Although we have scored in the last 3 trips there, The last time we were there, August 2021, drew 1-1. Before that, 2020 March 2021, we lost 3-2, and before that, in July, July, that was COVID season, we lost 4-3. So it is a game that we do score in. So let's move on. I've waffled on quite some time, haven't I? Are you still listening? Hello? Hello? Let's go to whoscored.com and have a look. So, here we go. The last 6 visits to QPR, 3 wins for them, 3 draws, 0 wins for Millwall. Well, this is interesting. So there's been 13 goals for them, 9 for us. That's not too bad. But they've had 8 yellow cards, we've had 14. We've had 1 player sent off as well. So that's skewed a bit there, isn't it? So let's have a look at these match facts over here on the right, top right. There have been under 2.5 goals scored in 6 of Millwall's last 7 games. QPR are undefeated in their last 9 home matches against Millwall in all competitions. Yes, but like I said, that is worrying. But these kind of streaks, they need to end. QPR have seen under 2.5 goals in their last 3 matches against Millwall in all competitions. QPR have failed to win their last 7 matches. Okay. Food for thought there. Let's get down to the table. We're 8th. They're 14th. We've got 2 games in hand of them, but it's still a 6-point difference. You can immediately see it on the side. In the last 6 games, the form here, they haven't won. They've had 4 draws, 2 defeats. We've had 3 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat. Now, obviously, they're at home and we're away. Aha, look at this. This is good for us. They are 18th in the home form table. They've played 14 home games, won 5, drawn 4, lost 5, scoring 17 and conceding 18. Negative goal difference at home. In their last 6 home games, obviously they've drawn the last 2, but before that they had 4 defeats. If you are a Queen's Park Rangers season ticket holder, you are probably going absolutely mental at them and moaning about everything. Now, obviously, Millwall away. Okay, here we go. You see this? So it switches. Now, they're better away from home than they are at home. We're 18th away from home, which is this game is an away game. But we've won 4, drawn 3, lost 7, scoring 13, conceding 19. We've won 4. Remember that? Go over to the form on the right hand side. The last 6 games, 3 wins. 3 of those 4 away wins have come in the last 5 games. Our away form has certainly improved. Now, has it improved, or are we just playing shitter teams now away from home? Because we've played away games. We've gone to Norwich, we've gone to Burnley, we've gone to Sheffield United. So we've played the hard teams already away from home. As we start to play the more shit teams, Cardiffs and whatever, are we going to start getting the wins? Or yeah, because we beat Cardiff. We beat Watford. That was good. We beat Cardiff 1-0. We beat Preston 4-2. That was a great result. We beat Watford 2-0. This is promising. So let's look at the form table overall. Jesus. QPR are 21 in the form table. They haven't won a game in 6. They've drawn 4 and lost 2. They've only scored 5 goals. Holy shit, they've conceded 11. Holy moly, Batman. Now, Millwall, on the other hand, are 7th in the form table. We won 3, we've drawn 2, we lost 1. Now, that was the Middlesbrough game away, wasn't it? 1-0, yeah. We've only conceded 2 goals in 6 games. Now, granted, there's been a shake-up in defence now. Hutch is out injured. He's a big miss for us. Creswell's come in. He's done well, but he needs to string 2 games and 2 performances together. Can he do that? We will see. Will he understand how big this game is, being a local derby? Obviously, he played well against Sunderland. He probably knows Sunderland's not that far from Sheffield and Leeds. He went a bit batshit crazy against Sheffield in both games, in the cup game and in the away league game. They made a couple of mistakes. So we will see how Cresswell does. Can he string 2 good performances together in a row? Hopefully. Now, here we go. The last 5 games for QPR. You can see. So they've been quite tough games. Burnley, they lost 3-0. Luton, they lost 3-0. Sheffield United, they drew that 1-1-1. That was on New Year's. And Swansea, they drew 1-1. So these are their last 5 home. So they've only failed to score against Burnley and Luton, and all the other games they've scored there. That's not too bad for them, is it? And I think these were before they signed Jamal Lowe. So whereas Millwall's away form, as we all know, clean sheet against Cardiff, clean sheet against Watford, clean sheet against Birmingham. Conceded 3 at Sunderland, conceded 2 at Preston, but still scored 4 thanks to hard playing wonder class. Watford absolutely outplayed Watford, even before they had a man sent off. Stunning. Middlesbrough, bit disappointing. And Cardiff, fantastic result. Perfect kind of football game management style of win that was. So, there's the strengths and weaknesses. Gone on. I'm not going to read them all out. It's for time. Pause it and have a look if you want. Match forecast. QPR will score as a result of individual skill. Millwall will score from a direct free kick. Millwall will score from a set piece situation. QPR will steal the ball from the opposition often. QPR will dominate possession. There will be a low number of cards shown. Really? Okay. So wanted to show you this. So if you look on the left hand side, it's easier to see the results with the colours of the thing. Grey for draw, red for loss, and green for win. They have I think it's 1 game in 11, so, and that was away at Preston, the 1-1-0. And we go here. This is Wikipedia, QPR list of QPR managers. The new guy, Neil Critchley, he started on the 11th of December. So there was a gap. The old guy left on the 28th of November. The new guy started on the 11th of December. So since that new guy started, they've won against Preston, and they've been absolutely terrible. But they were kind of terrible before the old guy left. So I think he probably knew that things weren't right. So he's thought, I've got to get the fuck out of here. And he has. And it's been kind of struggling ever since. Although they were losing games, now they've started to draw games. So if we look at their home games all season, you can see. So they lost to West Brom, they lost to Huddersfield, they lost to Burnley, they lost to Luton. They drew to Sheffield United, and then they drew with Swansea. But they beat Wigan, they beat Cardiff, they beat Reading, they beat Hull. But they beat Middlesbrough. That was the old Middlesbrough. But it's interesting to see the teams there or thereabouts at the bottom. They beat them on Loftus Road. Teams at the top, they didn't beat them. The best they did, probably Sheffield United, the 1-1 draw. So this is a game. Looks like Millwall could be winning this. The first time in many, many years, Millwall winning it. So let's have a look at the prediction here from whoscored.com as well. They've got the injury list there. Here we go. There's match facts that we've already read. So QPR struggles under Neil Critchley were exacerbated last weekend as they were held to a 1-1 draw away by relegation threat aboard Huddersfield. Saturday's hosts have taken just 2 points from their last 6 home league games. Millwall saw Jake Cooper's 59th minute goal cancelled out last weekend as the Lions, of course, settled for a point at home against Sunderland. The South London club have won 3 of their last 5 away games in the Championship and will fancy their chances against their struggling hosts. And they predict QPR 0, Millwall 1. I mean, yeah. If we can't win this game after this many years, and there's never been a better chance to win a game at Loftus Road. This is it. We're on the ascendancy. They're struggling badly. But again, this is a game that they can get up for. It's a local derby. The away end's going to be sold out. There's going to be a lot of noise. How beaten down are the home fans, the season ticket holders, from going there week in, week out, and just not getting results? I mean, are they going to be up for it? Or are they going to be like, meh? Will they want them to lose so that the manager gets sacked? I think they want Les Ferdinand out. They want the chairman out. They want everyone out. They're not happy, so we will see. So WhoScored.com predicts a 1-0 win to Millwall. Interesting stuff. That would be very nice indeed. Now, obviously, in the stats video that you didn't watch for the Sunderland game, George Long got a very low score because Sunderland only had 2 shots on goal and 1 of them went in. But they only had 2 shots on target and 1 went in, which is not good. You need to be doing better than that, son. Certainly, pretty certain that QPR are going to have more than a couple of shots on target. So George Long is going to have some saves to make. Now, this is from SkySports.com, David Pratton's predictions. And you've probably already seen it because I forgot to bring it back to the top. But they predict QPR 1, Millwall 1. So he's going with the trend, he's going with the history. And WhoScored.com are going with the form. Now, which way do I go? Which way do you go? What do you think is going to happen? Man, this is it, isn't it? If this season is going to be magical, we just had the crowd at the highest crowd since 1995. So we've had the highest crowd since 1995. That's many, many years. We haven't won at Loftus Road in many, many years. Are we about to see our first win at Loftus Road in many, many years? I mean, if you're going on form, it all points to that, doesn't it? We've got the injuries. That certainly doesn't help. They've got injuries as well. They've got problems recruiting. That doesn't help. Man, I want to say that we're going to win this game. And you got to look, if you're looking at the games this month that we should and probably try and be winning. You've got this game. I'll take a point at Coventry, to be honest. And I would probably beat Sheffield United because they've got problems themselves. And then you're probably looking at beating Stoke and drawing with Luton and probably losing to Burnley. So this is, if you're looking for 3 points this month, this is a game where it's possible to get it. So we will see. Now, obviously, I probably knew for the Sunderland game that Burke and Watmore weren't going to come straight in. That Rowett was going to have, he was going to give the players a chance to G themselves up, and they did. Look how Honeyman played. He obviously knew. Like, there's a guy there sitting on the bench. He's come in to replace me because I'm not really doing it. He stepped up. So he gave them a chance to step up. So now we will see. Will Burke start? Will Watmore start? Well, Watmore, I think Watmore will start. Mason Bennett's out, so we will see. And it does depend on Cresswell and Long. Can they do better than they did last week? Can Long be better than he did last week? And can Cresswell be as good or better than he was last week. Can he string two things together, two performances together? And he might have to do that quite a bit because we've got 6 games coming up now over 3 weeks. So we will see. And I want to say it's going to be. we don't. We can score. We've scored at we score at Loftus Road. They don't keep clean sheets. I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet tomorrow. So I think we're going to score at least one. Can we keep a clean sheet? Probably not. So you've got to look. Is it going to be? Can we score more than one? Probably we can. Probably we can. I don't think we're going to concede more than one. If we do, we're definitely losing. I don't think it's going to be 2-2. So I'm probably going to go QPR 1, Millwall 3. I'm going to go QPR 1, Millwall 3. Has that ever happened before? What was the last win? The last win was 2-1, 1989. We did win 3-1 in 1972. And we won 3-2 in 1963. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. We won 3-1 in 1953. And we won 3-2 again in 1935. So we can go to QPR and score 3 goals. So yeah, I'm going to go QPR 1, Millwall 3. So there you have that. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.